This is a video response to the Preacher 84040. I have decided to make this video because I can't articulate all that I have to say in just 500 words. I am not going to do my normal standard of video because taking the time over it is simply not worth it, so you're going to have to deal with the umming and ahhing of someone who isn't used to public speaking. I have mentioned on some of your videos that you are an agent of Satan, a man of the devil, an evil man, a corrupt man, a man of dishonour, and above all, a man of deceit. For this I must lay down some groundwork. You, and people like you, consider that the Bible is the word of the living God, the inspired essence of God. I am going to demonstrate how this could be made false. The evidence, of course, will come from the Bible, something that you people always use to your defense. I am now going to use as a weapon. In Genesis 2, verses 8 and 9, now the Lord had planted a garden in the east, in Eden, and there he put the man that he formed. And the Lord God made all kinds of trees grow out of the ground, trees that were pleasing to the eye and good for food. In the middle of the garden was the tree of life, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Now this was the real God, the omnipotent one. Yeah? Let's use the Bible again to divine the attributes of Satan. In John chapter 8, verse 44, you belong to your father, the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desire. He was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native tongue, for he is a liar and the father of lies. Okay, back to Genesis 2. The Lord God took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. And the Lord God commanded the man,
You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for when you eat of it, you will surely die.
Then in Genesis 3, verses 6, when the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate it. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized that they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made coverings for themselves. Preacher, for God that created the entire universe, God that created the heavens and the earth, God the all-knowing, God the essentially omnipotent, God creating humans perfectly, as many Christians keep going on and on about. Obviously that perfection includes the behaviour of curiosity, naturally. Of course the tree of knowledge of good and evil was meant for us to eat from. The tree. God obviously knew what was going to happen, because he is all-knowing and all-powerful. You've said it before, you'll say it again. God cannot have a block on this. God cannot sort of say, oh, I didn't foresee that happening. I'm sorry, God knows everything. So God put that tree in the Garden of in the Garden of Eden for a very good reason, for humans to eventually eat. God also knew that some of his minions might teach us a lesson in the evil part. But for the true good, one cannot be taught it. One cannot learn it from rote, or even from someone else. One has to learn it for oneself. Not from a book, not from your parents, but through living life. And this is something you can't really understand. Anyway, let's go back to the Bible. It has been said that Satan and the agents of evil are beautiful to behold, and yet even they can corrupt the true test of things that are actually from God. So let's think about Genesis for a second. Okay, God created the universe, created the earth. There's no real evidence to say that God personally went down on that planet. Yeah? If Satan and the agents of evil are beautiful to behold and are powerful, an innocent person like Adam or Eve could mistake it or mistake him for God in the evil games that he play. Please keep this in mind. But anyway, back to the test. In 1 John verse 4, he says, "Dear friends, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God, because many false prophets have come out into the world. This is how you can recognize the Spirit of God. Every spirit that acknowledges that Jesus Christ as coming flesh is from God. But every spirit that does not acknowledge Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you have heard is coming, and even now is already in the world." You know, the first part of it is true. Test every spirit to see whether they are from God. The corrupted bit is how they tell you how to test them. Yeah? The test is one of common sense. Yeah? To test a demon or an angel is not by speaking from rote, or like a password, or a special handshake, or a song, or whatever. Yeah? It is what you see in their heart, from their actions, their intentions. Perfectly good, innocent people, everyone. It's like an aura. Anyone can see that they're good. Yeah? In this test, Roland, you have a heart of darkness, of one I've not seen in quite a long time. You have an aura of depravity around you. You have a stench of evil pouring from you. And yet, you're so deluded. You're so blinded to the lies that you've convinced yourself that you actually from the Lord of Light. You have to be joking. You've mentioned a number of times that the God actually appreciates people who have self-sacrifice, and yet you're going on about heaven is full of the paved of gold. You've got a mansion of gold, and I'm surprised you haven't gone on to tell me that you're going to have sex with 77 beautiful virgins, wherever you can find them from. But then, you know, we have now a God of lies. In Genesis 2, we have a God that is petty, curses on various things from Genesis 3, chapter 3, verses 14 to 19. God that's not all powerful. You know, this God created the universe. Rather, not that God, but the real God created the universe. But this God in the Bible must interact with humans by talking to them. This one place in Genesis where he's actually walking in the garden. You know, this is not an omnipresent, omnipotent God. You know, Job, in the book of Job, it says that Satan can't do anything without God's permission. So naturally Satan must act in that way. It has to be taking a physical form, or a sound, or something like that. You know, and all we have now to finish off what Satan is from John 8:44 is murdering, and Job does that quite nicely, thank you. You know, in the book of Job, God burns and kills animals, livestock, enslaves innocent people to show Satan. A true God already knows what Job will do already. A false God like the one in the Bible would have to do that to show Satan its power. It's just really not acceptable.